Hello and welcome into the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. 30 minutes later today for those in the live chat or watching live, because in an exceptionally extended deadline today on Sorare, thanks to somebody just unplugging something or something. I don't know. But we got 2 extra hours today, and it's thrown off my entire day, even though it's only like 30 minutes later than it normally is. But the ease at which they pushed the deadline, and I don't know how easy it was, seemed pretty easy, makes you wonder if they could just move it more often. Makes you think. Thanks everyone for coming in. Look at this, Andy Black first in. That's like 2.5 hours early. Way to be. Toby, Sower made you delay your show by moving the deadline. How dare they, for real? And Mr. A, that's a new name for me. So welcome. Thumbnail game leveling up. We love to see it. So congratulations to Black, Toby, and Mr. A, which could be an Andrew. Who knows? On the podium. Congratulations, you three. Malky, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Pico, player said because Sower learned how to sell their cards. Oh, that was in reference to the topic today, why your cards don't sell. Harry Trades, what's up? Philly Dilly said, this is much better than the accurate title of, quote, your cards are shite. I actually don't think it's about that. Stefan, what's up? We'll get into that. Don't you guys worry. Anion said, I had no problems at all selling my cards this season. Some sold for a lot less than I thought I would get, though. Mikey Baston, what's up? Rui, Alex, good evening to you. Sorare Burrow, Vice 91, because you're listing them above their actual value. Could be. John Andrews, Shaforkle, Blue Tomatoes. Germ said, how positive are we that this was a Sorare, I'm not going to say that, mess up? I'll say that. We love the late deadline, early Christmas present. Oh, we'll see. Thanks for unplugging something, Mr. Laird. Yeah. Kev Heard, what's up? Sorare Malta, beer in hand, Laird on screen. The weekend has begun. We love to see it. Graham, good evening to you. Recomon finally watching live again. Love it. LFC PS79. PS79 in New York would be Public School 79. Hello, one and all. Hello. Not a name I'm familiar with. I feel like we're getting more new people in, not even just watching, because I have no idea if you're watching. But when you're in the live chat and you say hi, it's like, hey, what's up? Welcome. Whether you've been in Sorare for a while, whether you watched a ton, you just, I don't want to use the word lurking, even though everyone does, but just watching quietly by yourself. It's great. It's great. Toby said, moving the deadline to the start of the first game every game week seems like a great thing they should continue with. I don't see the negatives. I'll put it that way. Victor, what's up? Patrick, hello from Africa, fellow kids. Let's go. Let's go. Might have to do a watcher map again soon. I won't do it today, but one day we'll do it. Yeah, that was really something this morning for me. And like I said, the whole day was thrown off because I watch Quinny and Harry on the deadline stream. This is how my day starts, since you guys care. I know you don't, but I'm going to. So I have 3 kids, and they all have to get off to school by the time that the deadline show starts. And so I actually have to walk my youngest daughter to the bus stop. And when I come back is usually when the deadline show starts. And so I always miss like the first couple minutes. And something about, Harry and Quinny don't do anything like vital in the first couple minutes, but it's like the welcome, says hi. I really like it. So I end up sometimes pulling it up on my phone on the walk from the bus stop. It's like a block and a half. It's not far, but I don't feel like running down the street. Seems weird. But there's another dad at the bus stop who like walks with me. And it's like weird for me to like pull out my phone and be like, sorry, I got to watch this YouTube video of these 2 guys talking about JPEG soccer cards for a fantasy game that my entire livelihood depends on. And so I just kind of like try to walk fast, and then I get in the house, pull it up on my phone, I make breakfast. It's a whole Friday process. And I've usually done all my lineups. I've exported them usually the night before, but I'll tinker today. And that's where the problem started, is that Sorare's website was not playing nicely, and it just took too long. And so the the whole morning, and then like they ended up pushing the deadline almost like seconds after Quinny was like, I really don't think they'll change the deadline. And when they changed it, that's when I was like, oh, they don't know what's wrong, or they don't know how to fix it, or like they know how to fix it, but it's going to take too long. But it did seem like it was such an easy fix. And I know that there are a lot of things on our side at Sorare Data that like start up once the game league starts, and we had to make all those adjustments. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. Rigamon said, isn't the negative that it gives an advantage to the people that have players from that first game? Yeah, it could. It could. Toby said, I was so stressed for Harry because there was no way he was going to build his lineups on time, and then he got bailed out. So it's funny you say that. So for those of you who don't watch that show, and I realize it's like not a perfect time for everybody to watch it, but if you have the time, you should watch it. And there's like, it's not even a running joke, but like Quinny's always like trying to like finish something by the deadline. And today with like 20 minutes left, Harry was like, oh yeah, I got to export my lineups. And I'm sitting there like, there's no way he's going to get these in if he doesn't start manually doing them now. And he's like, oh, let's just see. And I was like sitting there like 20 minutes. He had like 23 lineups maybe. And I'm like, he's not going to get there. He's like, he was so nonchalant about it. And like, I started getting nervous. And then right away, somebody was like, oh, they pushed the deadline. And I'm like, man, Harry bailed out again. And so it was okay. Oh, Quinny in the house. And for those of you who watched Quinny and Harry are watching this show right now, Quinny's Go Fuck Friday starts in 2 hours from now. And so just take the whole day and just watch Sorare content. I believe he's got Harry, McBride. There was someone else on, and maybe some other people. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it for different reasons, but go check that out. Anyway, Mike said, I guess the reason it's fixed is because of issues like this. If the deadline was when it was today and something went wrong and there's nobody at headquarters around to sort it out for sure. That's actually a very good that's a very good point, though. Like if there is something where they would have to delay it, now you're delaying it until after games have started. And so, yeah, that's a great point, Mike. Great point. Toby said, what do you say that your job is to the other parents? Oh, man. So there was a conversation actually at Thanksgiving this year. And it was actually a conversation about a previous conversation that my dad and my sisters had about if they could have somebody else's job in the family, whose job would they want? And I have a number of siblings, and like they have kids who have jobs. And so like there are enough jobs to choose from. And there's some very like, one of my sisters is a teacher, one of them's a nurse. And my dad, and I was like, does anybody know what I do? And they were like, not really. No. And my dad is an investment banker basically, and has worked with database companies his whole life, basically buying and helping companies buy or sell database companies and databases. And he was like, well, Andrew works in like data, so like I would choose that job. And they were like, do you know what he does? And he's like, it's data. What could it be? And so explaining my job to anybody is very tricky. And I will say that I've probably had the conversation of trying to explain it to maybe let's call it 10 people of like who were like genuinely interested in what my job was, or like what Sorare was, beyond me saying something like, I usually say like I work for a fantasy sports company. And that's kind of like the response I gave when I worked back at RotoWire. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And like most people are just being nice. They don't really care. But there are some people who ask, so, oh, what sports do you do? And like what websites? And if you are like, because fantasy sports are more mainstream here in the United States, you know, they're like, oh, is it ESPN or is it Yahoo or is it DraftKings or whatever? And I'll start like going down, and let's say the 10 people where I've like gone down this job rabbit hole, I eventually get to the whole like, well, they're like digital cards. And one of them's like, oh, are they like on the blockchain? I was like, oh, wow. Like, okay, now you actually know what you're talking about. But it's like 1 in 10 at best. It might even be 1 in 20. But I basically say that I work for a fantasy sports company. And if they ever like, well, what do you do for them? And I was like, well, I lead like the content kind of branch of our site. And if there's even more questions, I'm like, I'm a YouTuber. I don't really say that, but I am. I mean, I'm on YouTube a lot. Sora Malta says the random bus stop dad seems like the perfect guy to plug Sorare to. At the bare minimum, he'll avoid walking with you so you can watch the stream. That's an interesting point. I start having like crypto conversations with him, and then he's like, I'm going to go this way. Anyway, Mike said, because the Sorare desktop was down, I had to copy manually from the Sorare app until they announced the deadline move. Oh, it's surprising to me that the app worked, but not the website. Anyway, Graham, influence. I'm hardly an influencer. Patrick said, they don't know what you do. They only know you have a fancy webcam setup. Mike said, you sit in the attic talking to a camera. This is literally what I do. Like, that's actually like not the only part of my job, but this is like the most public part of it. And yes, I sit in the attic talking to a camera with a green screen over here to the side that I use every so often, and in a fairly small room in a chair without a cushion on it. Toby said, your dad thinks thinks you do what Vita does. I think my dad knows I'm not he doesn't know Vita, but I'm not nearly as smart as Vita. So maybe that's the benefit. Sora Malta, must be awkward when your dad tells you he's proud of you and then has no clue what you do. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that my dad has told me he's proud of me, and it has nothing to do with my job. And like, I think that's the best part of a supportive dad. Hunter said, you could say you work in predictive analytics. I'm not sure what we do is even predictive. But Hunter, what's up? Thanks for coming. What happened to the attic upgrade? So I keep putting it off, but like, I've got some paint samples here, like this one. I think this might be the color I go with for the room. And to be honest, I just keep putting it off, Mike. And I don't know why. Part of it, I think, is that it's not as simple as just like painting the room. Like, some of the walls need a little help. And yeah, I don't know why. Maybe over like the Christmas break, because I'm going to take a few days, although I'm not going to want to do it then either. To answer your question, Mike, I don't know. It's coming because it will. I don't know. Send your dad a link to the pineapple cutting stream. Yeah. Yeah. Trading me thoughts. I have the same situation with what I do. I sell FIFA coins. It's quite hard to explain what that actually is to people. I would imagine. Yeah, like, it's just like the one thing, like, oh, do you know what FIFA is? And they're like, no. And you're just like, then you will have no idea what I do. And so the question that always comes up, and like my wife asks, is like, how is there that much to talk about Sorare? And yesterday's Sorare Andrews is probably proof that there really isn't an infinite amount of Sorare content that you can create, but there kind of is always something to talk about. And that's coming from somebody that like doesn't do like lineup building streams or reward videos or whatever the standard YouTube Sorare content is. But this, as weird as it sounds, if I spoke about like my own Sorare gallery more, literally I think it's limitless of what you could talk about. And so, yeah. Majority always say that it's crypto. No, sadly, it's not. You say it's not crypto, but like, I have a growing ETH balance because of Sorare. So we'll see. Looks like Paderborn's up. Jacob Swag, finally catching a live thanks to the deadline delay. Oh, that's good. I mean, we're only 30 minutes later. Quote, what do you do, Andrew? Sends them link to the So Birds episode. Did we do an entire episode on So? I don't think we did a whole one. It's me clips it. I moved from Sorare to FIFA as the cards don't lose 100% value at the end of the season. I mean, there are plenty of people who think that they do. I'm just kidding. Mike said, never direct your family to an Andrew stream. Otherwise, who knows what they'll think. I mean, I'm pretty sure I showed them the section of the pineapple cutting part. I did. Mostly because I had to take my pineapple cutter and then I walk down from the attic and they're like, why do you have the pineapple cutter? And I was like, oh, I need it for work. And they're like, what? Huh? And so, yeah. The Essence episode was also great. If I should just go, I'm not going to, but I should just go back and find some greatest hits for the year. Nice little end of year. I mean, maybe I could. If I didn't do it every day, if there weren't 300 streams to go through, I'd consider it. That Essence one. I assume you're talking about the one with Mike and Peter. Props to Peter to this day for being so serious about it and really wanting to talk about it. And Mike and I just couldn't not. Anyway, Travanspor down 1-0, Kacker negative decisive. Good thing we got that lineup though. Thank goodness. Yeah. Mike said it should have told them OnlyFans. Is there any Sorare content on OnlyFans? I would assume not, but you never know. I mean, some people might know. Oh, okay. Blue Tomatoes talking about where I made Essence. I got you. That was a good one. Did I wear goggles for that one? I can't remember if I had. I remember. I don't think I could find them actually. Maybe. Only Sorare. Oh, okay. Bitcoin back above 100K. It's the third time it's been over 100K, right? Just ask Twitter. Guess people will send some good stuff. Yeah, I should do that. Thank you, Blue Tomatoes. I'll do that. I will do that. There's going to be a bunch of hey, remember that time? And I'm like, I don't remember. Or it's no, you were supposed to find it, not me. Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about today's topic. Now that we're 18 minutes in, why your cards don't sell. And this is actually something that I wanted to talk about, that I've been thinking about for a little bit, because the recent Christmas specials have made me more of a buyer than I was anticipating at this point. And sorry, Big Mr. K14, another new name, OnlyFans Sorare content, hot tub lineup building. Andy, if you're still here, yeah, Andy, did Jimmer ever do a hot tub sweeper or Sorare After Dark? There's been a lot of talk about it, but I don't know if he actually ever did it. But I mean, that's a great idea. Never did it. Oh, he came close. Okay. Was it just fear of dropping the laptop into the tub? Anyway, selling your cards. So the thing that I've been thinking about recently as I'm buying cards is how much of a push that we get to buy cards directly from Sorare. And this is almost exclusively about limited cards because there's so many more. And Tone T3 is telling everyone like the stream, and that's a new name to me. And so, yeah, let's like the stream. But so the Christmas special is obviously the push was, hey, buy a card directly from Sorare because there's a 20% chance or a 50% chance at a special card. I've gotten none of these. Only thing I've gotten is raffle tickets. And I still don't know what the raffle tickets are for. And one day I'll just get a notification that none of them won. But the interesting thing that I kept seeing is people buying cards for 2x the floor. The floor meaning the secondary market floor. And the reason is the potential of these extra cards, or it's the collection bonus first owner cards and stuff like that. And it's made the secondary market look very I don't even know what word. I was going to say like inconsequential, but it's not, because we're all trying to, well, they're not all trying to sell cards, but we basically now have 3 markets, because we have like the secondary market for classic cards, the secondary market for in-season cards, and the primary market, which is both auctions and instant buys. And I think there was kind of this expectation that if you were trying to sell in-season cards, which either from rewards or you bought one previously and you now want to sell it, the idea was like, oh, we're going to be competing against Sorare to sell these cards. And from the rare and super rare perspective, it's much easier to compete against them because they've sold most of their cards that they can. And we've kind of talked about it a few times. And there are certain players who are getting, they're like, I think Moises Caicedo was the one that pops into my head. I think there are 7 Moises Caicedo cards, rare cards left to sell. And that's assuming that they stick to their sell 60%, reward 40%. And so that's not that many, because it's 7 for the rest of the seasons. December 6th today, excuse me. And we have until May. And so I don't think many people are going to be buying the cards in May, but most of the rare cards to sell are gone. But that's not the case in limited. And so with limited, we continue to list cards at prices that we think are better than Sorare. But when you really think about how much people are actually selling, the issue is that Sorare's offer is always better. And so, if you go on to sell a card and you see the instant buy is, let's call it like $10 just for the ease of it. If Sorare is selling the card for $10 and you're like, oh, I'll undercut that by like $9.50. The problem is that, meaning $9.50. The problem is your card doesn't have first owner bonus for whoever buys it. Maybe it has more XP, but if it's like a reward, it doesn't. And there is no ability to use market credits to buy your card for less. So there are people who are literally spending, like if you have your card listed for $9, people are spending like $18, what it looks like, on an instant buy or an auction, because maybe they have market credits that bring it down to $9, and they still get the possibility of a special edition card, or they could get a second card and they get the first owner bonus. And so it's like your card is like significantly worse than the cards that they're selling. And so listing at just below whatever the Sorare price is not really doing that, because if you consider how many market credits are out there, yours is now like overpriced. And not being able to see kind of like which cards were purchased with market credits and whatnot makes it a little more difficult. And everyone is now getting this idea like, oh, wow, this guy just, this card just sold for $100. I have one of those. Mine's worth $100. And then you list it for 100 and like nobody buys it. And then you list it for 90 and nobody buys it. And then you list it for 80 and nobody buys it. And you have to take some time and say, and really look at like, what's the last price that somebody paid for a secondary market version of your card? And maybe that's the price, or maybe that's even higher. And the problem is that I think too many sellers, specifically of limited cards, are listing cards below whatever Sorare have theirs listed at, but it's not nearly low enough that it's more attractive to buy it than the Sorare card that has all of these extra things and could be cheaper as like a actual money out of my wallet perspective because of market credits. And I think there are too many people ignoring that. And I'm not sitting here saying like, well, just go list all of your cards at 50%, like whatever it is. But you really have to understand like why your cards are not selling. And the easiest way to understand why your cards are not selling is to just go on the other side and just say, if I was to buy a card of this player, which one am I buying? Knowing you have market credits, or knowing that there's a 20% chance at a special edition card, or the fact that if it's a collection, you're getting 20 extra points or 30, whatever it is, for a first owner. And it's like, are these the same cards? Should they be the same price? And if you're sitting there as a buyer saying, no, of course not, why are we as sellers saying, yes, they are the same? Sorry, I went on one and then Recomon said, are the crafted cards coming from the 60% or the 40%? Crafted cards, I believe, come from the 40%. But extra cards that come from like bonus cards, when you like if you buy a new season card and there's a 20% chance at a second card, that second card comes from the 60%. Oh, Gator guy in the house. What's up? Trading Me Thoughts, can there ever be a discard value added to a card for like the trash end of the market with cards that just won't sell because they don't play or are just generally trash? No. I think the discard value is zero. Literally. Like I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't get. And they're like, this card is worth, they say that. They're like, this card is worth nothing. And you're like, give it away. And they're like, well, I mean, I could sell it. And it's like, well, you just said you couldn't. And if you can't, and it's actually worthless, like there's not a single buyer, you can keep it or you can give it away. Those are your options. John Andrews said, people seem reluctant to list at 80% of recent sales or sell to somebody for that price, but will happily sell to a bot for 70 or below. While Grem says the bots are broken because of this as well. The bots are broken in which way, Grem? Grem said, I tried to buy a player whose last 6 sales averaged £8 and the bot asked for 28, which was double the Instabuy. I will say that there are some weird, I've seen some weird bot, actually it's specifically with, it wasn't with Basil. It was either with, I think it was Sir Hiss, but it was one where like that card was actually the only one on the market. So it was definitely a rare card. And it was like last sales were $20, let's say, and the card was listed for like 2,000. And I was like, boy, that's weird. And I sent an offer, let's call it for like 15, and it like lowered it to like 1,700. So I agree. There's some weird ones. Mike said market credits have had a huge impact on where people are buying. For sure. Me specific, so here's an example. I bought a Jarny Stukers rare card yesterday. And Quinny tried to put it in my anti-stacks lineup, and it was ridiculous. But if you look like the recent sales of Stukers, and I'm only going to look at, and he's actually a bit of a weird case when you look at classic cards, because he has forwards and midfielders, and the forwards are much more expensive. But just looking at like the last sales of his in-season cards. So what do we have? 10 here. So on November 19th, an auction for $169. Then there was a secondary market for $148, a secondary market for $160, $157, and $153. And then on November 28th, another secondary market for $170. There was an instant buy on November 30th for $216. Then a $155 secondary market, and then I bought mine on auction for $163. My actual price on this card was $118 because of market credits, which is actually, that's a midfielder card. These all midfielder forwards aren't even selling. Oh, there's one, $90. So $20 or $30 more roughly than the classic. But it looks high. And so the thing is that you look at this and you're like, oh, if I have a Stukers, I can sell it for let's say I can sell for $150. 155 recent sales. But like, what is the floor now? Here's 148 and it's unsold. And the instant buy is 227, which I don't think anybody's instant buying, are they? Yeah, no. So the problem is that when you go to sell these cards, like what do you list it at? Because maybe at 227, you have to have a lot of market credits in order for it to be less than 148. But some people have them. And so now you're competing with Sorare to sell these cards, even though theirs is listed for so much more. So Ramalta said the prices people have been paying for primary Prem limited cards over the last few days is mental. Yeah. Like even like Mo Salah, who Nep and I were talking about, whose like price isn't going up that much because people are worried he's going to leave. Like even his are going up. Now again, like everywhere on this graph, and apologies for those who are listening, but if you just look at the Mo Salah price graph for the last month, every single triangle is a primary market purchase. And so you can see all of these secondary ones are cheaper. They're in season, and even the neon ones, like their secondary market in season is much lower than the primary. And I guess we see examples here of people kind of actually understanding that theirs are not as valuable. But we see too often that there are people who are saying like they can't sell their cards, even though they're listing like near floor. And it's like, well, is it really that near the floor if your card is actually worse than the ones that Sorare are selling? And this is going to be I don't want to call it a problem. This is going to be a mechanic that we see in the limited market until we have so many more users that are looking for these cards that the supply is actually tested by the demand. And right now it's just not. Ryan said, we will know Sorare is dead with 100% certainty when people stop asking for a burn mechanism. Yeah, maybe. Mike said, market credits surely don't help the bot pricing of cards. I mean, I don't know how they do it. Show us your anti-stack. So I actually changed it a little bit from yesterday. The one thing, Quinny, you didn't do. Oh, I'm sorry, anti-stack. Yeah, sorry. The one thing you didn't do on the challenger lineup that I said, because I didn't want to pay. I didn't want to play in season. Was I always pair my goalie and my defender, and you didn't do that. But here's my anti-stack. You used Armani. I used Petroli so that I could use Paulo Diaz, Barco, Hulk, and Douglas Santos. That's my anti-stack lineup for rare. Check Stoikers Limited. Okay. Yeah. And like I have one that I bought a while ago. Where did I buy mine? Here it is. $16. And I believe I paid half of this. I'll have to go back and check. But I don't think I could sell it for like if one sold for 43 instant buy, like there's no reason for me to think that mine would sell for that. Let's see some of the secondary ones. 28. This instant buy at 31 is actually pretty good. And they're like coming down. That's surprising. Jonathan said, to be fair, I won Bundesliga Division 1 and yielded $2,700 in Classic. I assume you sold, super rare. That's a lot. Gully said, the issue for me has been listing at a reasonable price and then a bot or trader just undercutting. Multiple traders means a slippery slope. But are they selling? Like, are the bots actually selling or are they just undercutting you? Because that's very different. Because if they're just undercutting you and not selling, that means your listing was not reasonable. Petar said, Salah Rare and Limited are the same price, apparently. I don't think that's correct. I would think that his even rare is the same. Limited, let's see. No, they're not the same. They're close though. I forget how to pronounce this one. Egelsy? Egel? Egel? Egels? I feel like I'm going to see it correctly, and then I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway, I feel like there should be a way to reduce the amount of cards. Otherwise, this will just go into hyperinflation, and we have more years of cards on the market. Like imagine in 5 years' time. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about that for years. Hulk versus Stoikers. It was also another one. You had Paxton Aronson. It's also Paxton Aronson against Paulo Diaz. Tobe said, no extra bonus right now, so prices will come down until there's a new Christmas bonus for that card. The advent calendar is having a huge effect on prices as well. People massively overpaying for primary. I mean, oh wait, just call me EG. Okay. Mate Quinney, Paxton was the play. I mean, I played Paxton, just not there. I don't remember where I played him. I think we're still importing lineups so I have to check on Sorare. So give me an hour or so, since I don't actually remember where I played him. Hold on, Quinny. I think I played Paxton somewhere like reasonable. Champ. Here we go. Challenger. I played him in Challenger Classic Division 1. Right there. Don't worry. They ever thought about making so you could turn your cards into essence? You know what's funny is that you can turn essence into cards. The cards into essence, no. Again, there has to be a financial benefit to allow us to turn useless cards into something valuable. That's it. John H. said, it seemed with the recent promo, people were taking advantage of market credits as I got a Salah rare immediately after someone purchased him and resold for cheap. Is that bad? Like the point is to get us to buy cards, and market credits force you to use your money to buy cards. And like to go back here, Sora Malta saying people are massively overpaying. They may be paying more than like the last sales on the secondary market, but they're also paying the price that is being asked. And if they're willing to pay it, like, I don't understand why we care. Like, I guess you could say like, it's not good for the secondary market that if I have a card listed for $10 and Sorare is selling theirs for 22, that's bad for me. It's very good for Sorare, and it's very good for the person that bought the card because they want the card. Goose said, this season I bought 1 card from the secondary market and 70 from the primary market because I'm a collection bonus guy. So I bring no demand to the secondary market. Berger said, is this the stream where Laird is buying all of our junk cards? Why would I buy them? What's the benefit to me to buy all of your junk cards? Anion said, I always use my market credits to buy AAA projected players and sell them before the deadline. That's a nice trading strategy. Sorry, hold on. Owen said, in theory, they could at least make it so you could turn in season into essence because they could get that card back on the market instead of like destroying it. I mean, they already sold it. 5 cards for 1 essence because there's a billion cards, so they can't do 1 card equals 1 essence because there's a limited supply each year, so it won't be interesting for managers. I can't get into a burning conversation right now. Like I'm happy to have a conversation when somebody has an idea that like works for Sorare and works for its users. That every single burning idea benefits users to the detriment of Sorare, and that it's just not like realistically that is not going to happen. Like companies don't make conscious decisions that hurt their bottom line. Full stop. Anyway. Burger said, I think Sorare has an issue with what happens to cards when players retire or move to the uncovered. We buy, play, and then just be happy with owning it. Yeah, or you sell it for a nickel. Like there was a long time on this platform where the only thing that would allow us to lose utility on a card was a player retiring. And Sorare kind of spoke about with it. I don't think they actually spoke about it directly, but like I believe it's now in like 4 years from now, we think we'll be at like maximum cards in terms of like the maximum number of active players on the platform, which means there are a number of players who have retired and then new players coming in, and it won't get any higher than that because like every year, X number of players will retire, X number will come in. And we've always had the potential downside of players retiring. Like that's one of the risks in buying cards. Retirement, career-ending injury, season-ending, whatever. And like, so we're building something in where it's like we somehow are compensated for a risk that ended up happening. It doesn't work to me. Does burning for level ups or XP hurt Sorare, or would that be a valid option? I guess. I mean, I guess. You guys really do want to talk about this. Goose said, I think all cards have value, but the issue is that it's less than 0.0001 ETH. Could be. And it said, the only idea I thought of with burning is that you rework collections to be a bar that fills depending on what tier you are burning, or maybe an extra for additional club benefits. Like burning to help a collection seems weird to me. Like you're buying the card for the collection. John H. said, even traders are struggling to sell cards, especially classic. I purchased a classic Palmer, and the previous wasn't for a couple of weeks. I mean, yeah, we know. It's literally why Essence started. There's also like not that many Cole Palmer cards on the platform, but let's see. Classic Cole Palmers. Oops. Like this is, what is that? 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Let's call it 21. Classic Palmers have traded in the last 6 months for cash. Now, granted, there could be plenty of, I didn't want to do that. There could be plenty of like trades for, yeah, so there are actually a lot more trades for Palmer. But yeah, it's like one every couple days. I'm not like, what should we expect? And like, so now what we have listed here, $784 for a Palmer Classic. Now it's a midfield. Palmer's probably a bad example because he has like midfielder and forward. Or actually, no, the new ones are only forward. So maybe it is. But like we could see here, the Classic is actually much worse because of the positional change as well. It's funny. John H. said like even traders are struggling, and it's funny like because everybody seems to like hate traders and bots until we have to feel bad for them. He said, but it would be a very interesting thought experiment to ask users how much they would pay for X card to use for X number of weeks, or how much is the player worth per week. Keith, I think the problem is that people can't. I don't think most people can like conceptualize that. They've gotten so used to being able to buy a card once and using it for the rest of eternity, and with an expectation that they'll get all their money back after they're done. And so putting like a value on on an entry is, I don't think people can like actually conceptualize it. Marcus said retirement and moving rumors are already priced in with most players. Not with Brad Guzan, he's going to retire. Berger said classic and in season made selling cards much harder. We now have two separate market prices. So like I would make the argument we now have three market prices. Like we have classic, we have in-season secondary market, and in-season primary market. It's Me Clip said, if people want to burn cards and sell them, go play FIFA, as Sorare is not the game for you. Omarion said burning for market credit. So that's still like, that's us getting value for something that has no value. Like the idea is that people want to burn the cards that they get that have no value. They can't sell them and they won't play them in lineups. So they want value for that. But it's something that doesn't have any value. And so Sorare giving us market credits is putting a value on those cards. Like, what is the benefit of Sorare giving us something that they will then destroy? Like, why does it, where is it on Sorare that is like, that's what, like, how does this help the game at all? Other than it makes people happy and it's giving them cash. I mean, it's not direct cash, but it's market credits. But it just doesn't work. It's like way longer than I wanted to talk about burning. Graham said the only way Sorare would allow you to burn a card is if you pay to burn the card. People just need to accept that they will not allow you to get something for free, like essence or credits. You don't have to pay to burn cards. You can give them away. There are plenty of people on this platform who will take your garbage cards for free. And he said Palmer's also not really a card people are looking to sell. I mean, there are 6 of them right here. Andre said rare, they're just listed very high compared to many other classics. John Andrews, Palmer is a card that wouldn't burn. Oh, I like that. Blue Tomato said if it's a legend card, the answer is 0 at the moment. I mean, I would take free legends cards, throw them into training for sure. And he says, I want to burn cards for cash. I appreciate the honesty. He said people can't conceptualize like entry value basically, but then the card they can, but when they can, their card, then they can value their card correctly. Excuse me, when they go to sell. Surface to air missile. People can conceptualize weekly value, but not a fun idea I or others want to be constantly thinking about because it's complicated calculation that's often changing. It would be a disaster, in my opinion. I mean, it's boring. Yeah, maths are no fun. Andre said, I think that's a hard case to make in anything but limited with 3 markets. Cards can go on auction for lower than market prices in rare very often. But I would argue that the market price is not like the value of your card is wholly dependent on what you are willing to sell it for and whether someone else is willing to buy it for that price. What 2 other people agreed upon previously and what one person wants for their card now does not determine how much your card goes for. And I think we need to realize that. And this is one thing that Quinny said years ago that was like, the decisions of 2 people affect the decisions of everyone else on the platform who has a similar card. And the idea was if 2 people agree that this card, I'm selling this card for $100 and you say, yes, I will pay $100 for that card. And then somebody else comes along, they're like, oh, I have one of those too. I would like to sell for $100 and there's nobody else who wants to buy that card. And they're like, yeah, but the card's worth $100. It's sold today for $100. And if there's nobody who wants to buy it for $100, that your 100, it's not the price of your card or the value of your card. You can think it is because you're like, oh, that's what it's sold for. But we don't know how much our cards are actually valued at individually until we sell them. And when we sell them, that's how much it's for. Anion said the closest to burning is actually selling your gallery to a trader. You get around 70% in cash. Do you even get 70% these days? Goose said, I have around 10 to 20 cards that are just in the gallery to make it harder for me to build my lineups, but it's unbelievably hard to get rid of them. I don't know if you know someone who can help me. I mean, it's easy to get rid of cards. You could give cards away. People will take your cards. Berger said, I think we need more benefits for holding cards in collections. For example, I have collected lots of Incheon United cards. Getting a simple video from a player would be super cool. Should cards have a discard option? They do. Send them to somebody else. Cosmics from Twitter. Hello. Hi, I just started listening. I've been with Sorare since the very first season. I'm not a huge holder, but I have enough to play lineups for NBA and MLB. My soccer collection isn't so great these days. I'm listening to see if Sorare has plans for a burn. I didn't hear if you said this already. They do not have a plan. And Keith is right. Free always sells. Ryan said you can send them to Sorare for nothing. Sorare has an account. I actually don't know if you can do that. The Snake said, what about burning cards for some sort of points that allow you to boost your cards to X% bonus points on top of the XP? I mean, that's kind of the same idea as burning them for XP. Kicka 19, why do we not think Sorare values user happiness with the product? Fundamentally, it's a bad perspective. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying like if they're making decisions, particularly monetary decisions, they have to benefit first. Every company works that way. And if you make the argument like, oh, you could take a loss on this now because it'll pay off later, that I get that idea. Basically, like explains marketing budgets. But I never get that second point. People aren't going to end up like, we're not going to start going out and buying garbage cards to burn. Like, it's not going to happen. So every burning idea is just, I don't want these cards anymore. And I want to get some value out of these worthless things. John H said, is it not the harsh reality people need to accept? If you have cards that can't be sold, they are trash and have no values, similar to FIFA with the lowest value bronze cards, which can't be sold. So like, there are cards that are worthless. As much as like, we don't want to like accept that, there are cards that are worthless right now. Now, not to say they will be worthless forever, because like the Incheon United idea, you have a bunch of them, you have a collection. Maybe at some point there are enough users who want to collect Incheon United, and now your cards have some value. But like right now, they don't. And a lot of cards on the platform are like that. Like that's how it works. Like a lot of these cards really don't have any value. And you want to get like some value out of it because somebody bought one recently for a collection. And you're like, oh, now my card is worth something. And like the bots don't give you any money for it. And it's like, it really doesn't. And like, this is just like the way that I have felt about this, but I have never felt that Sorare had to set up the game to a point where like every single card had some sort of value. I just don't believe it. In like any other fantasy game, there are loads of players that you never, ever consider using. FPL, there are tons of players, even like the minimum priced ones, that you just never even think of. And that's okay. And yet in Sorare, there's this swath of players that were just like, yeah, I would never use that card. I happen to own I won the card, but I'll never use it. And we're like, no, this should be worth something. Like they're just not. Not every card is worth something. Flo said there's a KT Katovam and another guy buying 10 cards for 0.001 who bought almost everything for 10 and 20 cents and probably some others I don't remember. Yeah. Sora Malta said, I've sold plenty of cards for 20 cents because 20 cents is better than seeing a useless player in my gallery. Keith said, on that point, the amount of time is a big deal. Yes, someone paid $100 for it, but may take you weeks to find someone else that will. So our market moves too fast due to our own impatience. Zhao said, if no one cares about your card's value is zero. Yeah. Wisdomania says the in-season to classic transition is the burn. That's an interesting point. Ryan Dino will accept all free cards. Jakob or Jacob. The problem is people don't accept some cards are valued at zero. Good question, Mike. How many houses has Keith given away for free because they wouldn't sell? Vice91 said, I always see people doing Twitter giveaways for worthless cards, and there are tons of people who enter those giveaways. Sure. It's me, Clips said, so are there people saying Rodri is a card they would burn as he is out for the season and has no value until next season as a classic? I would argue that if Sorare set up a mechanism where burning a Rodri was better than holding the Rodri, that the game is broken. This is what I think people need to do. Wistomania says it very well. People have to start looking at their cards from the buyer's perspective. And I think this is something that we completely miss on, particularly when we are listing cards similar to prices that Sorare has listed at an instant buy or the current auction. If you would not buy that secondary card, why do you think other people would? I like this. Nobody wants your DNP from a second division who has 3 career games. Gatsa said burn for temporary XP boost. I think any XP boost has to be way less, than the collection value of that card. The Snake said, but don't you think the price of classic cards would increase with a burn mechanism because the supply decreases and therefore Sorare makes more on the 5% market fee? No, I do not. I think burning tens of thousands of worthless cards will have almost no effect on the market. And this 5% market fee that Sorare collect usually goes to clubs. And so there's no economic benefit for them either. And Inchin's in K2 next season, so they're uncovered. Unbelievable. What an example. And he said, I would even argue most cards are useless or only have very low usage. Split Geek says, wow, how do you know my cards don't sell? Anybody who says their cards don't sell is clearly not listing them for low enough to sell, right? Like there's a very big difference between I want to sell a card and I want to sell a card for a specific price. And I want to sell a card for 20% off that specific price. Like there is for cards that are in demand, and that's another one that like I keep hearing, like, oh, this is a good player. He should sell. If that card is not selling, that means your price is not low enough. Would you pay that for that card? He said, every house has a price where someone says that's too cheap. Unfortunately, that's not the case with shit cards, but every star does have that price. Absolutely. I would even argue that every playing player, like regular playing player, has some sort of minimum price. but we don't want to accept that that's the price. Jakob said, am I the only person who thinks no burning mechanism at all is the best option? I feel that way. I'm with you. Owen said, my bad for bringing this up, by the way. Just thought it would be a quick topic. No need. No, not your bad at all. This is what this show is all about, talking about Sorare. I've discussed it before. That's the only reason. And it feels like it's the same conversation. This one was a little different, but that's why I start to get all fired up. So my apologies. I know like not everybody has watched every single show, and I need to do a better job of remembering that. Goose said, in my opinion, collection bonus has given every card some sort of value, although we can't quantify it. I disagree with that, actually, Goose. And the reason why is because that kind of implies that there are as many collectors as there are like collections. So like that Incheon United, I couldn't name a single person on. Here we go. So like Lee Bum Soo, is this the guy who did he have the old card with his hands up? I'm gonna be so proud of myself. Yes. I knew that guy looked familiar. So the problem is that so when you look at Lee Bum Soo's limited cards, let's just say for this season. Oh, actually, I guess I could have done it up here. So 596, and this is probably a bad example because he's a starter. In fact, it's definitely a bad example. Hold on. Let's go down to the bottom. Oh. Kim Seung Min, 24 years old, U23 until next year. Limited floor price is 40 cents, which I assume is the minimum. And there are tons. And so the problem with saying that like collections mean every card has value is that Kim Seung Min has 240 in-season cards, or at least current, like the 2024 cards. And now you have to have 240 people who are building a Incheon United collection for this card to have like value. So I don't know if like, and you're saying like we can't quantify it. Like it will not every card will have value until we have enough collectors for as many cards as there are. Because like there's no benefit for people to own multiple versions of the same player in the same collection. Joe said, I think it depends on the player. I don't care about card value. I play for fun, but I understand the issue for card investors. Ooh, investors. Goose said, I want to list them for lower than the minimum. Just give them away. Can we burn the burn mechanism? Oh, I like that. If I could buy a percent bonus on a 2021-22 Lars Unnerstall for really cheap, it would be a no-brainer. Buy a percent bonus. I mean, you can. And it's literally what collection bonuses are. No? Like, you can literally buy, literally buy bonuses for your cards. 2020, 21. Does he even have 2020 cards? Oh, there are no limiteds, right? Okay, hold on. Like, whoops, sorry. Like this is the 2021, 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, you said 21, 22. This one. Like, do you want to buy a bonus? Buy the rest of these cards right here. Right? Am I wrong? Haber said, damn, I wish I was on for this one. I have a lot to say. Is it because hold on. Yeah, I think we're caught up on thinking that these. Oh, and you just got here? Oh, never mind. In season has totally changed the way we play the game. I feel like people who are failing to understand the value of their cards are just stuck in the old ways and don't want to accept it. I think there's a lot of that. Germ said a secret Santa burn mechanism. Everyone just exchanges the shit card. It's like, I don't like, why not? Like, I tried to do this recently, giving away some cards for my collections. Anyway, Haber's here. Oh, you're muted. Boo. Who comes on without a mic? Professional YouTuber who can't even turn his mic on. This is going to be funny when we end up talking about exactly what I've been talking about for the last 25 minutes, even though just because you just got here.
Hello.
Hey, there we go.
Hello. I was really confused. I got a message from you and then it was just a link. I clicked it and I'm just here now.
Hi.
Hey guys. Yeah, I just got here. So
did you want to talk about selling cards or the burn mechanism?
Oh, dude, don't even. I hate the words burning mechanism shouldn't go together anymore.
Okay.
I hate
Good.
Burning passion.
Right. Good.
Sick of it. Sick
so
of
hit me with
that.
your selling cards.
I just don't think people understand what the supply and demand really is. And maybe you've already covered this, but like it just pisses me off that the amount of people that think that the last sale is how much a card's worth. You've definitely covered this, haven't you?
Well, I covered it a little. Yes, I did. But I was actually, the one thing that I added is people thinking that undercutting Sorare, meaning like the Sorare instant buy a little bit means that their card is more attractive because it's cheaper, when the benefits of buying directly from Sorare are so much higher than buying from the secondary market.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, people don't. Do you know what people I think don't realize that they also need to compete with is what they're called? Auction credits.
Yeah.
They're competing. I would say most cards these days in the secondary market should probably be like $30 to $50 lower than what they actually are already, just because that's probably a mean amount of auction credits people have. In rare, in limited, obviously that doesn't really work. But like, yeah, in rare,
I think it actually works more in limited.
Oh yeah, I don't play limited, so I don't really know how the market works. But in rare, especially, I think there's so many people that like don't realize that your price, like the price of what a card went for on auction, is probably like a lot less, a lot more than what the guy paid for because of his auction credits. And like you say, the benefits as well are like you can use your card on Sorare as well, like on like directly on Sorare, your credit card and things like that. Like there's so many benefits that aren't just collection bonus, which is the only thing I ever see people saying is they're like, yeah, the benefit for getting from Sorare is collection bonus. Nobody, it's not the case. There's quite a lot actually. So
I forgot about that credit card one because there's I think it's an added 10% fee if you buy a card on the secondary market with a credit card.
Yeah.
And you don't pay that for the primary market. What was I just about to say? Oh, and everybody was complaining about like the 20% chance of a bonus card now. And they're like, this is why your secondary card is not selling, because you can't offer anything like a bonus card or a raffle ticket or whatever the hell else you could possibly get.
Yeah, I think what we have now is closer to what Sorare is going to be long term. I think that what they want is most people to buy through Sorare, and the secondary market is there for like if people want to sell their cards and buy other cards. But like it should all the primary place to buy your cards theoretically should always be Sorare themselves, whether it be from auctions or instant buy. And like if they could go back in time and like start the game again, I think they would have had a much closer game to what it is now. I think secondary market ran this game for years and it was always like the place to be. But like logically, it makes so much more sense for you to want to get your cards through Sorare and almost then be, I've bought this card without an intention of ever selling it. It just be like you're buying a product and then winning the money with that product is where you get your returns. But unfortunately, because of how this game has been for the last few years, we're still stuck in this mindset that you're buying an asset. You can win money with it, but the idea is you're then going to sell it on the secondary market for more than you paid or the same that you paid or whatever. And I think that's where so much negative sentiment comes from, because like realistically, I don't think I buy a card with no intention of ever selling it. I don't intend on unless something changes. Like I'm going to buy a house soon, so maybe I have to sell some cards when I'm like, you know what I mean, because that shit's expensive. But like I don't intend on ever selling my cards. I intend on winning money with them, and I just think like too often, and it further reaffirms it with the amount of people upset about all the promos being buying promos. Like, yeah, no shit. Like, it's kind of how everyone works. Go to your shop 2 meters down the road, bro. It's a Christmas sale. Like, that's kind of how it works. Why are we so upset that a company's trying to sell their cards and give us a better deal on it? Like, that's how every company ever works. You don't get free tires from Michelin because it's December 14th. Like, it's not how it works, buddy. Like, why are we so upset?
That was my absolute favorite, like, responses that I saw. It was just like, we have to buy something, and it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I don't know what people. I think I said it to McBride. I was like, I don't actually know what people were expecting, but like, yes, because I don't think people realize if we did get free stuff, how much that would obliterate our card values even more. Because they're just going to give us free cards and make our cards worth less. Why do you want that? You don't like, you want your card values to go up, but you also want free stuff. You also want to pay less for your cards. Like, make up your mind.
Something you said before about people wanting to like sell their cards for what they paid, like after they've used them for 8 months. I don't actually think that would please everybody.
No,
it would be like, look at how much it's won. It's worth more now. And it's like, oh my God, please stop.
I'm not out here buying a condom and selling it 3 weeks later after I've used it. Like, you know what I mean? But like, apparently on Sorare with these, with the cards that don't have a face yet, that's what you want to do. You're telling me that you want to buy one of these condom wrapper cards and you want to sell it used 3 weeks later? I mean, unless you're a really famous celebrity, I don't think people are going to want to pay much for that. John Ellis is maybe. I think John Ellis could probably sell his condoms for a bit more after, but not everyone can win the TikTok awards. I forget what it was. A sports personality award, was it?
Sports, yeah, something like that.
It's just royalty, isn't it? He's just the king.
Man, that is the metaphor that I was not expecting to hear today. But man, it might be the perfect one.
That's what I mean. Like, this is why when I saw your title, because I've just finished working. I've just seen your title. I thought, oh, no, I've had to stop myself from making videos for like weeks where I just rip into people because I'm so sick of all of the stuff I see that it's just so nonsensical. It really is. But I understand why, and like I'm trying to bite my tongue a little bit because I know it seems really mean because we've been taught for 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is that this is how the game is, and because they've gently transitioned, it's not. I understand why not everyone is getting it, but like the game a few years ago is just not what it is now, and it's like we are now consumers of a product, and I think a few years ago we were part of a community of a startup, and it's just a lot different now. The scope's a lot different, you know.
I will say I think we hit rock bottom sentiment already. Like, I don't think it's there. And that's not to say like everybody is happy, but I think you can either look at it as rock bottom sentiment or peak unhappiness, however your mind works. But I have found that the chamber of negativity is smaller than it was.
I agree. I think I agree with you. I think it's smaller, but I think it's also like more compact now as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It's like a jar. It's so compact that if you open that jar, all of the voices could come out at once. You know what I mean? It's just like pressurized and ready. It's like a can of deodorant. It's just so pressurized. But yeah, I do agree. It's definitely smaller. But I don't know if that's also partially because people are leaving.
Which is probably better literally for everybody.
1,000,000% it is. This game, I don't think people understand, first of all, how many people actually play this game, because it's not 300 people on Twitter that play this game. You know, there's tens of thousands of people that are setting lineups. I just wish that like Sorare were better at getting more people to join the online sort of community space of this game as well. Because I think you said it when you were talking. I think you were talking with Nep. I think Nep also said it, like, our echo chamber is not the reality of this game at all. It's what we see, and like, you know, the Harry Trades, like Quinny and all the people that stream regularly and whatnot, and their chats and that sort of stuff. Like, that's not actually reality at all. It's just a micro section of this community that's been around for so long. Because we are like fossils of this community now. Even me, I mean, I joined late 2021. So what's that? 3 years, just over 3 years now that I've been playing. And like, although that 3 is not a long time, like we've seen everything in this game already, and like it's crazy. Whereas the new people, I want more new people to like, I want to hear their thoughts, because I bet they fucking love this game.
I mean, there are a lot of people that I've spoken to who joined like not before the change, but like soon before it, and they love the game now. Absolutely love it.
If I, obviously it's easy to say if I could go back in time and you know, not join when I did and then join now, but I truly think if I joined the game today, I would absolutely love it, just on the basis that, like, I don't think gameplay's ever been this good. I don't think the cost of entry's ever been this good. I don't think the yield percentage has ever been this good, or the ROI percentage. Like, the fact that we're not spending $1,000 on a goalie, we're not even spending $1,000 on a whole rare team anymore. Like, but we can win so much more. Like, and I've been posting it, and I didn't want it to seem like I'm flexing when I post, but I post my lineups now showing that, like, I can win $100 with 370 points. $100. Before that was like 17th in All-Star Rare, for example, or All-Star Rare Pro. Sorry, not All-Star Rare. All-Star Rare, that would have been like top 10. But like All-Star Rare Pro, that was like 17th to win $100 cash reward. Yeah, you got the card as well, but like, to get that, you're looking at 420, 430 points, and that's with a 25% captain. My lineup this week was awful, and the fact that I won $100 from it is hilarious. But people just aren't getting it. And then seeing people crying about winning just a box from like 420 in like the most dramatically condensed area of Sorare, where it's like champion D2 limited. Like, yeah, obviously you're playing in the most difficult to play area of the game. Like, I don't know.
The thing that when you brought up Nep, how we were talking about on Wednesday, whenever, saying like some of the initial responses to the buy a contender card and get something else, and people are like, this isn't a prize, like this isn't a gift telling us to buy something. And like, we saw all of these feedback, and then you see like price graphs that look like this, and it's like, oh, yeah, it worked. People are interested.
I love when Nep's on, because Nep is just logical. Like, he could be a right dickhead about it, but like, he's so logical and blunt that, like, if you have an opinion on something, then you feel really stupid when he's just like, yeah, but look at this. Like, the amount of people that have been whinging about this winter promo, and it's like, yeah, it's the worst thing ever, man. That's why everyone's double X the price on these cards. Like, yeah, shit, dude. And then he's like, I did think it was bad, and now I realize that actually I'm in the minority that think it's bad, you know?
Yeah. The nice thing about like Nep coming on is that like we just never see him anywhere else. So it's like, it's nice to like finally be able to hear from him.
Yeah. But I will say, right, I think he is talking absolute horseshit with his crafts. Absolute horseshit. He's out there, right? He's acting like he does the same. The logic he applied was the logic he uses for FIFA packs, when he's like, oh yeah, of course the content creators got the best packs because they open the most packs. They open way more packs. Nep's not doing 100 crafts a week. Like, he's had from crafts in the last 4 months, Joey Veerman, Buscagli, Haaland. There's somebody else huge that I'm missing out on, right? He's not done like 300 crafts. He's probably on par with crafts of like a very steady gallery. Like, he's not winning like 30 boxes in rare every week. He's winning like 6 or 7. Like, he is either he's had the best look ever, or like, you know, we need to check some contracts out here, guys. I don't think Sorare are deliberately pumping him, but he has been the luckiest motherfucker ever.
What if he actually just is the luckiest
Probably.
personally. I mean, somebody has to be.
That's facts. If I get something shit from, if I can craft tonight, because there's no guarantee anymore, because like even though I'm winning boxes, I might be winning 3 essence. You know what I mean? So if I can craft tonight and I get another shit that tier 5 that's never played before, and Nep crafts a tier 5 and gets like freaking, I don't know who's good these days. I was gonna say Rodri, but he's not. Yeah, Yamal. I'm just gonna find out where he lives. Go to his house.
They say that surface to air missile, excuse me, crafted Yamal recently.
Oh, really? In super rare?
Rare.
Oh, I mean, that's cool.
Best, man. Sorry, excuse me. Best was what was the flying goalie? Surface to air missile won super rare flying goalie and had no idea because it wasn't on the Sorare data app.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got a Haaland super rare.
Having
no idea he won.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, I was the same.
Tier 3 craft.
I quite liked that. I liked that they weren't on Sorare data. You know, I liked that like you didn't track that lineup like you track all your other lineups. It was quite, even though like I only ended up getting a box in the end, like it was nice thinking, oh great, my lineups are dead. Oh wait, hang on.
Oh, wait a minute.
If Darwin Núñez scores 150 points, I might get a reward, even though he's not my captain and it's capped at 100. But you know, you never know.
Collection bonus, you never know. Yeah.
Do you think that'll ever be? Do you reckon they'll ever release a special where scores are uncapped?
Yes.
That to me, I won't play it because I've not got the cards to play that kind of lineup. But like that would be really interesting. I think that'd be a really fun one to watch.
I think that they feel like they're very creative when it comes to those things, and that's such an easy one to do.
I have so many ideas that Sorare should actually hire me, I think, to come up with specials, by the way. I'd give you all of them right now, but I don't want someone to steal my job, my future job.
It's a good idea.
But I've got some really cool ideas.
Nico, if you're listening, at It's Haber, Ryan Sorare, whichever one you prefer.
Yeah, I had to change it from It's Haber Sorare because people couldn't find my main Twitter account anymore. It would only show my It's Haber Sorare account because I was using that account a lot more. So it actually like suppressed my main account. That's why I changed it to Ryan Sorare. It's so stupid, but yeah. On Twitter, you could not find my main account from searching it because I used my Sorare account so much.
Does that mean we're back?
I don't know. Well, it doesn't. That's not the case anymore anyway, but that was the case for a while. And then I kind of like stopped using my Sorare account for a little while. It's not that I just stopped posting stuff. It's like, it's been nice to not post stuff and just like be quiet and quietly play the game. I actually really enjoyed just quietly playing Sorare and doing my own thing rather than feeling the need to tell everyone what I'm doing. And then like, you know, if it doesn't work, then you're like, oh shit, well, it didn't work. And then everyone's like, yeah, obviously it didn't work. The worst thing is when you post a lineup, right? And you get what you think is a surprise DMP and some little pricks replying like, yeah, we found out that information last night.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Everybody knew that already.
Congrats. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't find out because I was banging your dad, mate. That's why I didn't find out. Honestly, it's the most infuriating thing, though. Like, yeah, congrats on finding that information. What am I supposed to do with this fucking reply?
Right. Yeah. But
I'm going red because I'm getting angry about it. By the way, it's actually making me angry that the fact that because when you had Nep on, Nep found out about the Foden being out like whilst you were on. It's like it's already infuriating to kill a lineup with a DMP. I don't need some busybody telling me that they found out 2 days before lock. Like, tweet me next time. Right. Tweet me 2 days before lock. You know.
I'll say that was one of the things that Nellis told me, that the reason he did his lineup building videos like as long as he did is because people would tell him stuff like that. Yeah,
that's fair. I think like I did think about that. I thought about like streaming doing them, you know. But yeah, you kind of get I liked the 6 p.m. Deadline today. What did you think about that? It seemed
like they moved it pretty easily.
I know. Do you know what? Like, I was never a rolling locks guy until I only played Premier League and nothing else. And now I'm like, if the Premier League locks at like 11:30 a.m. on a Saturday, like an hour before the 12:30, because there's a chance that I think it's the early kickoff tomorrow, the Liverpool versus Everton game. There's a chance it gets postponed.
Yep.
Like if there was rolling locks, that'd be kind of cool.
So this was brought up earlier in the stream when you were not in.
Yeah.
But I think it was Mike Baston was saying that one of the reasons they don't do that, or one of the reasons they could not do that, is if there is an issue at some point with the deadline and they have to extend it, you're now extending it like as after games have already started. And that could be a problem.
Yeah, that's fair.
Safety measure, which we saw today. Like,
yeah, that's fair enough. But like, don't fuck it up. The one job, guys, just don't mess it up. If you don't mess it up, then you don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
I was never that guy. I was never a rolling locks guy. But like after today, I'm kind of like, this was really nice.
It's because you're just a Prem guy, though.
That's true. That's very, very true. And having the extra 4 hours meant I changed all my lineups based on the potential that the game tomorrow gets called off. But yeah, and it probably won't be called off, and I'm just going to be sat there like, whatever, like fucked up all my lineups for nothing. But
for nothing,
yeah, still, I don't know. I wonder if there's a future for that, but I also think that like I don't care. If this creates discourse and someone wants to have a conversation, like I'm sure there's a south-facing wall in your house you can have that conversation with, because I don't care. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, Laird.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Maybe I'll, give you a little more context next time, other than just sending you a link when you say hello. Anyway,
well, I'm down whenever. If you want to get together and have a chat at some point in the next week or two, I'm down to basically just berate people about why they're wrong about Sorare.
Yeah, this channel is definitely the best place for that. Sure. Yeah.
Not been on the ramble in a couple of weeks. The ramble listeners are hardened now. They're hardened to me just calling them idiots now. So like, I'm basically just building that up, and then I'm going to do a crypto scheme and rug pull like all of their money, and
there we go.
Then I'm out. The Ramble coin. If you guys want to invest in the Ramble coin, and then like I'll just rug pull.
Do you put that money back into Sorare?
No, because then I'm going to do a So coin after that and rug pull all the Sorare users, and boom.
Okay.
And then we'll just have a property empire.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back on. You can talk about the coins.
Let's go.
Thank you, Ryan.
Bye, guys.
Whoa, I got all big there. That was fun. I'm glad Ryan Haber came right on. Sormelta, surely Sorare data can build a glitch in so they postpone it every week. Andreas, Sorare would not extend from a purely Sorare data mistake. Probably it isn't their issue. Today was not our issue. I wouldn't say that Sorare data's website was perfect today, but the export button was out of our hands. Yeah. Iago Aspas is out today. Oh boy. I saw somebody talking about that earlier. So much for the later deadline. Anyway, Harald, we've gone pretty long today. What is that? Almost 90 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I don't think that there's anything else that I wanted to discuss, because we kind of went through the whole market thing, which was really the point of today's show. So yeah, if there's anything else, I got a little more time, or I could just not. So yeah, that's all. I got nothing else. Good luck to everybody this weekend. I really hope I win anti-stacks rare. I really hope I win that one, just because Quinny and I are going to battle about my results. Malky said reward. Oh yeah, rewards are in. Let's open 2 boxes, because that's all I got, and then see. No super rare. Oh, okay, guys. So I'm one essence away. I'm not going to get it. I'm definitely getting level ups, but I'm one essence away from crafting a super rare. So if oh wait, hold on. Let's open these boxes. And if I get at least one super rare essence, I'll craft a card. And hopefully it's something great. So we've got one rare essence. That gets us up to 17. So I'm not crafting there, but this is it. We need one more. One more. 40% chance of a level up, 2 level ups. 60% chance we are crafting a card right now. Or, after I get it. Are the odds in our favor? 60-40. Let's go. Give me some essence. Let's go. 1. All I needed. All I needed was 1. We've got 1. Let's craft. You guys just have no faith. Look at this. Yatza, level up incoming. Andy Black, level up coming. Easy. Yeah, no. Let's craft. Let's get a Yamal super rare. I don't even play champ super rare, but let's get it. Let's pump some essence. Reveal the card. Let's go. Oh, and Mbappe Zhao says. So Japanese, unbelievable. One game left. I don't even know what a Koki Enzai is. You're going to wish you had one. I wish I had level ups because it takes me so long. Oh, who is this guy? Koki Enzai. Does anyone think that he's played more than a game ever on Sorare? Oh, Grem says he's a starter. What's funny is I say he had one game left, but I got this today and I can't use it today. So it literally will never have in-season utility. You have to burn that card. Still don't get why we craft bad cards. It's a good point. I forgot to. I mean, it's not like the worst card ever, right? Like, that's not that. Yeah, I mean, there are worse. What does he play? Left back? How do you get 46 AA in this game? Clean sheet, obviously. Yeah. 19 attacking points. Not the worst card ever. A bit disappointing that I'll never be able to use it in season. Peter, it was a tier 5 craft. I don't know what tier he was actually in. Do they publish that at all? Crafting tiers? Oh, yeah, you don't do that. Yeah, I don't know if is that somewhere on the website? Tier 5. Like, can I see? Oh, okay, here we go. Untransparently published. No, it's published. It's right here. It's right here. Koki Enzai. Here he is. It's tier 5. Let's see if there's anyone in the tier 5 pool I've heard of. Yeah, so it's I think like I crafted the lowest level and I got this guy would have been cool. Borges Sanchez. So I've heard of one. Let's see. I've won Pacheco before. Oh, Mufek. Let's see who else is here. This guy used to be a starter, right? Aitor. I assume it's Fernandez. Morgan Sanson. Okay. Boosie. Oh, Peter Gonzalez, who goes by Peter Federico. I won his rare card once. Let's see. Zagadou. Tom Kearney. Julian Araujo. Wow. Bournemouth. Who knew? I'm sure you guys did. Isaac Hayden was a DFS star for me. Kaderabek. Oh, Piper. Well, there are plenty of guys in here that I've heard of. Of course, I win one I've never heard of, but still. Let's see. We're so far from the bottom that I'm not even gonna. Michael Boxall is the bottom, and Alec Khan. Shout out to Mickey Lee. Wow, Johnny Russell. Yeah, a little disappointing that it had 0 utility for in season, but got another contender defender super rare, so I can continue to play the worst competition on the platform. Super rare contender classic. Was Giannetti in that pool? I forget where he is now. Udinese? Am I right about that? Giannetti. Lautaro. There he is. I was right. Udinese. Let's go. Bang. So yeah. Players can be on multiple tiers at once. Come on, Peter. Let's not make this difficult now. Usable card on good matchups is actually fine. Yeah, I agree. That card was fine. I've had way worse tier 5s. So yeah, it's just a bummer because it takes me so long to get 20 super rare essence that God knows the next time I'll craft a super rare. But whatever. We keep playing. We keep getting through. Which is what we'll do this weekend. Hopefully, like I said, I'll win anti-stacks. Quinny will come in second. And then I'll just laugh all the way. Although my lineup ended up being different than what I told him yesterday. But regardless. But anyway, thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now that your food has been delivered, is it worth the like? I'm not even asking for a tip. Just a like. That's all. And a subscribe if you haven't subscribed. But anyway, shout out to Quinny for that one. And yeah, good luck to everybody this weekend. Don't forget to get those steps in.